Hello, I'm Ken Carpenter, and this is Invest AI Savvy, where AI powers smart investing. Happy Easter Sunday, April 5th, 2026. Before we get into today's signal of the day, let's talk about what's waiting for you this week because it's loaded. Markets reopen tomorrow after the Good Friday closure, and traders will react to Friday's job report for the first time. The economy added 178,000 jobs in March, beating expectations, but revisions pulled February even deeper into negative territory. That sets up a tension between resilience and deterioration that the market hasn't priced in yet. Monday, we get ISM Services. Wednesday, the Fed releases FOMC minutes from their last meeting, and that's the one to circle because everyone wants to know how the Fed is thinking about inflation with oil sitting near $110 a barrel. Thursday brings the final fourth quarter GDP revision plus the PCE price index, which is the Fed's preferred inflation measure. And then Friday, April 10th, the big one, March CPI. If that number prints hotter than expected with gas prices already above $4 a gallon, risk appetite compresses fast across equities and crypto. Position sizing discipline matters heading into next week. On the earnings side, Delta Airlines and Constellation Brands report Wednesday. Delta is particularly interesting right now because the Iran conflict has pushed jet fuel prices through the roof. So listen for what they say about forward guidance. Now here's the bigger picture. The Iran war is now 5 weeks old. The Strait of Hormuz is still effectively closed. 20% of global oil supply normally passes through that waterway, and analysts are warning that if it doesn't reopen by mid-April, the supply disruption doubles. Gas prices crossed $4 a gallon last week for the first time since 2021. The VIX sits at 23.9, still elevated. The S&P 500 managed a 3.4% gain last week on hopes the conflict is winding down, but Trump's Wednesday night speech signaled the war continues for at least 2 or 3 more weeks, so that optimism is fragile. In crypto, Bitcoin is trading around 67,000, stuck in a range between 65 and 63,000 for 5 weeks. The fear and greed index is at 9, deep extreme fear. But here's what's educational about that. In 2022, readings this low coincided with actual capitulation events like the Luna crash and the FTX collapse, with 20 to 30% single-day drawdowns. This time, Bitcoin is grinding sideways while sentiment collapses around it. Price and fear are telling completely different stories, and when that divergence persists, it usually resolves with a sharp move in one direction. Watch the 67,000 level closely. Now, today's signal of the day, DJT, a mid-cap equity trading around $9.18. Before we start, BuzzPulse's social intelligence tool. Everything you hear today is data and commentary, not investment advice. I'm not your financial advisor, so make sure you do your own research before you put your money anywhere. Now, DJT cleared 8 independent quality gates inside BuzzPulse, which means this isn't random chatter. It's a converged technical event. Social sentiment is actually negative 33%. Harsh personal attacks dominating the conversation, but price and attention are moving independently of that negativity, and that divergence creates opportunity windows for disciplined traders. On the option side, implied volatility rate is at 100%, meaning premiums are at the absolute high end of their historical range. The put-call ratio sits at 2.59, heavily skewed bearish. But unusual options activity is firing, which means someone is willing to pay peak premium expecting a sharp move. If DJT holds above $9 with volume confirmation, the setup has legs. Below 850, it weakens fast. In supporting signals, AMC is showing 22% short interest with implied volatility range also at 100%. A pure squeeze and sentiment setup if volume shows up. And MULN is printing a double-digit attention spike with strong positive sentiment but no identifiable catalyst. When you see that combination, it's either early-stage discovery or coordinated promotion. Either way, track it for follow-through over the next 6 to 12 hours. Bottom line this week, it's a week where the economic calendar matters more than any single ticker. CPI on Friday is the event that sets the tone for the rest of April. Stay nimble, stay disciplined, and let the data come to you. Until then, I'm Ken Carpenter. This is Invest AI Savvy, and that's the way it is.